It was here in Italy that they came up with a use for the two-stroke that actually caught people's imagination. This is more like it. In fact, it's sold in the millions. What they did was take the two-stroke starter motor out of an aeroplane, bolt it onto 4 foot of tubular steel, and call it a Vespa. But, importantly, of course, it had to have the Italian style. It was futuristic, it was beautiful, and everybody wanted one. What's more, you didn't have to straddle it, so it saved the nun's modesty. Also, it didn't take the crease out your trousers, very important, and flat out, you could still comb your hair. God bless them, they just can't help it. Oh, that I was 3 years younger.
Shit, that was nearly the tree.
Meanwhile, in Britain, the fashion was for model making, and the two-stroke was just perfect. Here was an engine whose mechanical parts were so simple they could be reproduced in miniature and they'd still work. Obviously, to service such an engine, one requires the hands of a fairy watchmaker. That is a cylinder, which is basically just a tube, and that is a piston, which is basically just a wee pot, which fits perfectly in. And this here is your connecting rod, so-called, because it connects your small end to your big end. The motion, which is a linear motion, which is just up and down and up and down, up and down, has to be turned into a circular motion to be any use. Bless you, my beautiful assistant. And the connecting rod connects onto a crank like this, and as you can see, this is what happens. The piston goes up and down, and that linear motion is turned into a circular motion by your crankshaft. Just thought you'd like to know. I love Sundays, don't you? The peace and the quiet, the tranquility of the loch. It's a perfect day for catching fish, perhaps a spot of bird watching. Or just taking the helicopter for a walk. You know, come around again, kid.
It's the little tiny ones that cause the annoying noise.
Yeah. The reason the two-stroke engine makes such a delightful noise is that it does everything at twice normal speed. You get power with every second stroke of the piston instead of every 4. So you get lots of power out of smaller, lighter engines. That's why they run so fast. That's why they scream a lot.
Hey, I'm landing.
I wonder if they supply a miniature vomit bag for the passengers as well. Fuel, please, Maestro. Right. This is this the smallest engine they make, Bill?
There is a smaller one. This is a .02 cubic inch. There is a .01,
right,
which is actually half that size.
Be careful when you pull that out, Bill. You'll get hauled off the street. It's for my wee motor, honestly, officer. Okay.
Just give it a couple of flicks over just to clear its throat.
Clear its throat. I like it.
That should do it.
Are you ready? Contact. That was the engine, by the way. Darn those curries. In the USA, they like their toys a little bigger. The two-stroke engine found its way into dirt bikes, microlights, and frisky little beggars like the snowmobile. I'm only pretending to like it, by the way. Southern California, serious timber territory. They've been cutting down timber here since about the 1870s. And yet, it wasn't until the late 1920s that the mechanical engineers came up with an improvement on this, which is what? A sharp dud of metal on the end of a stick. In 1926, an engineer came up with another use for the two-stroke engine that was to make life a lot easier for the loggers. And wouldn't you just know it? He was German. His name was Andreas Steele, and his contribution to the world was the chainsaw. The world has been on the run ever since. I think I've found the one justification for the two-stroke engine here, because no matter how painful it may be to one's ecological sensitivities, man, we need wood. We can't do without it. Not unless you want to engulf the world in plastic. He's setting the mark that it's going to hit when it falls over. And it's 2 inches wide. Is that cool or what?
Yeah, but we have to hit it.
Yeah, well...
Yeah, put it right in front of that little tree. Normally what we do, we try to gun the tree to a certain area so it doesn't destroy things. Plus, when you have other trees around, it knocks limbs out and can be dangerous. You want to avoid that.
I mean, what roughly, just as a rough guess, does a tree that size weigh?
Oh, man.
What do you think?
I have no idea, but it's heavy. It'll squish you like a bug if you run underneath it.
Can I shout timber, please?
If you want to.
I've always wanted
When it starts to go,
yeah.
you say timber and then run.
All right. Okay.
Just run.
Right.
Because one of those limbs will kill you.
Excellent. Well, I'll be just over there, Dennis. Thank
Okay.
you.
All right, Ron, let's follow this thing. Okay.
Good job. So what happens if you take a two-stroke motorcycle engine, add a Walter Carden expansion chamber, and fit it to a chainsaw? It's called a hat saw, and it's used in North American logging competitions. Roland and Dennis are both champions of the art.
It's really a sporty chainsaw.
I'll say. It would appear that the chainsaw is the only absolutely essential application of the two-stroke engine. They do burn oil all the time, and they're very high polluters. In fact, in this state, in California, they're just about to be totally banned. So that's something against them. Also, they make the most irritating noise in the world, which I personally hate. So, on reflection, I still don't like them. So there you have it. Well, it's all very glamorous and show-offy and smart, Alec, but it's not really my kind of engineering. No, I'm sorry, no, it's my turn. No, I'm sorry. No.